Good evening, and this is Lunaris. Why did I say good evening? It should be hello. Hello everyone, this is Lunaris. It has been a while since my last video. It's because I have been quite busy with some stuff, mostly my work. And tonight, as in it's it's night when I'm recording this, but tonight I want to talk a bit about this anime Princess Principal. The summer anime this year is already over, and it's almost new season, and I'm probably gonna be busy checking out new anime soon. But I just want to talk more about last season anime before we go to the new season. So Princess Principal, like actually I haven't finished this. I have only watched like 5 episodes in, and I just want to say that it left me wanting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use that as my title. That Princess Principal left me wanting more. The basic plot of this anime is basically the basic set premise is in a fictional country in a war, and it's about spies, not SPICE, SPIES, spy. What do you call that? Intelligence gathering and stuff. And instead of being like Joker game where the spies are all gentlemen and adult, in Princess Principal, the spies are all young girls, students, high school students, age lollies, especially with their very lolly art style. And if I just describe it like that, a group of lolly spies, and with a good art, interesting steampunky setting, early 20th century setting with great art and great visual effect, good music. It sounds like like an ideal anime to me, to someone like me, because I like all of that. All of that what I just explained, especially the lollies. But after watching 5 episodes, I just kind of became a little disappointed of how it went. Uh, the first and the second episode is really good. I really like the first and second episode, especially the second episode. My main gripe about this anime is actually about, well, this is about spy, about what do you call that? Reconnaissance, not reconnaissance. Do spy gathering, spy activities and stuff. But I think 2 years ago there's an anime called Joker Game. It's also about spies. I really like it. It's really intense. It's a very exciting thriller, very interesting psychological thriller and drama. It has some action, but it has not that much because they are spies after all. But yes, in Princess Principle, uh, what what I really don't like about is, for an anime about spy, for a story about spies, they don't really act like spies. I mean, they do spies like activities, but how should I say this? Okay, let me explain this from starting from episode one. Like episode one is basically an introductory episode. It actually jumps ahead to the uh, later part of the story because it wants to introduce all the characters before they actually come chronologically. Episode one is very exciting. There's a lot of actions. There's very the it showcases the steampunk setting, the steampunk Europe setting, and I think it's very actiony. Yeah, I think it describe it. It has some intense moment, uh, intense moment during the and so, during the because the plot involved them having to extradite. Do you call it extradite? To rescue a foreign spy, to recover a foreign spy, and then there's another a whole issue about the spy and his family. It has good content because it involves it involves the main characters while having to do harsh stuff, violent stuff, but they still have compassion to the little girls, dying girls, the enemy spy, little sister. It's a solid introductory episode. A good episode one is not something to be surprised about because most studio will invest lots of budgets on a high amount of money into first episode to make a good impression. So let's ignore the first episode. The second episode is my favorite out of 5 episodes. I want to clarify that I think for a 12 episodes anime, yeah, the Princess Principle is already over, but in episode 12, I know in advance. But for a 12 episode animes, I think that it's fair to judge whether to drop an anime by episode 3, as in you should really watch for a 12 episodes anime. You should watch it until episode 3 until you should decide to drop it or to continue it. And I watched it until episode 5. I think I can give a fair impression without having to watch more. And episode 2 is really good. It uh it it it, it encapsulates what a spy story should be. It has intense dialogues, intense confrontation, uh, good drama. The individual scenes are very strong and left a good impression. You can feel very yeah, it's very exciting without it having to shove in explosions or high octane actions, just by a bunch of people talking and trying to one up each other, but it still conveys a very intense feeling. I think that's how a spy story should be. Uses without using having to use physical action to convey a sense of danger, sense of tension, without having to resort to gunfight or sword fight and physical actions. And the twist at the end is also pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. And basically, I want to say that episode 2 is really good. And then by episode 3, I think episode 3 is the worst of the 5 episodes because it it repeated the same mistake many other anime make when involve lots of when the main characters are consists of a bunch of characters. Like in Princess Principal, there are around 5 girls. Yeah, around 5 girls, and then one of the girls are, unlike most of of the main characters, one of the girls are useless without any spy training, and they are and she is slowly going to be trained to be a spy to help the main character. And the I really hated how the story is the characters are supposed to infiltrate this huge aircraft, more like air fortress, and it's only supposed they are supposed to steal this one thing, but initially the job is only involve one of the character, but because of some stupid shenanigan, the useless girl accidentally got into the aircraft as well. So it is really how do you say this? When everything is written just so conveniently to make a plot. In this case, everything that happened in this episode, most of the thing that happened in this episode is to facilitate, to prove that the useless girl to be actually useful. It's like in TV trope, there is a trope called TV trope. There is there is something called Aquaman save Aquaman something something. Basically, the main point is, there is always an episode written just for one of the characters to be useful to take the spotlight. In this episode, the useless girl gets the spotlight. Even in the final pivotal moment, there is a very dire moment at the end, and the actually important girl, Lolly, is at the risk of both of them is at the risk of being discovered, and then the useless girl's ability just came in handy just for that specific situation. The useless girl has the ability to change her voice, and at that specific moment it was very useful. Of- the whole situation was really was really written to just showcases her ability. Basically, one thing, how she got into the aircraft in the first place is already how do you say that? I forgot the word. This is what happens if I don't write often. I will usually forgot a certain vocabulary. How the girl got into the aircraft in the first place is already very convenient enough, writer's convenience enough. And then everything that happened is to showcase to the viewers and to the other girl that she is not a useless person. She can be a valuable member of the team. That's why I really hated the episode, because how she got into the aircraft is very stupid. I suggest you watch it. Any of you watch the episode by yourself. And then episode four is decent, I guess. Out of episode three, four, and five, I think episode four is decent, but at the same time, again, in my opinion, a spy story should be more on should be more on psychological drama thriller, and should not be this much actiony. In this episode four, there's lots more action, which kinda makes you wonder why these girls, even though they act as students in the day or during the day, that people has yet to discover them, because they do like lots of wild physical actions on various soldiers and many other people. Like in episode 4, they infiltrate this factory to attend this ballroom dancing and stuff, and shit happens, and then they jump onto a ship, and then they start to like kill and beat a bunch of others. And this is another moment where what I hated. Like, another thing about what should make a spy anime more intense, more interesting, and more engaging is that the characters should be in the equal. It should be realistically equal. I mean, like, in Joker's game, even though the characters are highly intelligent, highly trained, but physically they are still normal men. So they cannot do some kung fu action shit that kills one that they can kill six, seven people just by themselves. But in Princess Principal, even though they are short lollies, most of them are very small, very short. They are like their arms are very, like, they don't show any physical muscle strength at all. But in episode 4, we can see that this Japanese lolly, even though she is very small and very petanko, flat chested, knock a grown man just by gently tapping at his neck, and then some basically lots of action, which I think should not be too much in a spy anime. At this moment, at the moment of when I finish episode 4, I was already disappointed. I think I already the anime make it clear that it's not really a spy anime. It's more of an actiony anime. So it is kind of disappointed. I mean, I guess it is a little of my fault that I went into this anime expecting a more thriller type of anime, but but instead we have a more action anime with steampunk setting. This what I hated about the action thing is magnified much more in episode 5. Episode 5 is actually before happens before the Japanese girl is recruited. Basically, it tells the story how they first met, and there's I can actually if I review the episode in detail, actually there's a lot of issue I have because it involves train chase, train chase, and a bunch of Japanese samurai trying to hijack a train and kill and assassinate a person. Yeah, it's a little crazy, and the Japanese lolly, there's a scene almost at the end where the main lolly expertly basically there's a lot of action just like in episode 4 and episode 1 there's a lot of action, and I really hated how these two girls, the Japanese lolly and the main character, like single-handedly kills lots of grown adult assassins, samurai assassin with I would assume that they are highly skilled because they went all the way to this European country to assassinate a person. So especially the Japanese girl, she not just she expertly kills a couple of men on the roof of the train so easily, and then later on after meeting the real assassin, she even locks sword with him, even though she's very small, but she locks sword with him. They both seems like they are fighting at full strength. The main assassin is actually her dad. Yeah, it's supposed to be a moving emotional moment because the little girl has to stop her father from killing another person. But and then they lock sword, and then the little girl snap the father's her father's sword and then kill him. So basically, what I don't like, what this especially this episode left me wanting is not just became so actiony. It also clearly that now that shows that it wants to make a girl power anyway, you know, but basically a bunch of lolly being very strong and at the same time, it's not realistic, you know. Yeah, I know I shouldn't. It's not really an argument saying it's not realistic. If I ignore if I ignore my expectation, it's a decent anime. I think I can enjoy it, but I just don't like it, this girl power thing for an anime that looks this serious. If the anime has a less serious atmosphere and maybe like a more black comedy or more like cynical comedy atmosphere, I think I can like it, but this anime tries to portray a very serious story involving assassination, spy, uh, overthrowing a kingdom, and stuff like that. With this serious setting, I prefer if the story is more realistic. So I really don't. It left me wanting. That's it. So I don't know if I'm gonna continue watching it because I don't really have much time, and I've been playing lots of Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn lately. So I don't know. Maybe I just forget about it. Anyways, if you are still listening, thank you so much. Bye.